Welcome back to Project 613. We are learning the mitzvah governing all of the laws of when food becomes ritually impure. And yesterday we started learning the correct procedure for netilat yadayim, for hand washing, which, as mentioned, is really one of the only relevant aspects of this mitzvah as practiced until today, where before eating bread we wash our hands, which is the ritual hand washing before eating. This isn't hand washing for cleanliness, because as we learned, the hands actually have to be totally clean before the hand washing. But this is purely for the idea of ritual purity, which is why the hands have to be clean beforehand as well. And yesterday we learned how exactly that should be done and how the water has to cover the whole hand and so on. Today we'll learn some additional conditions in order that the netilat yadayim, that the hand washing, should be considered halachically correct. And that is both regarding the water that's used as well as the vessel that's used. So regarding the water, number one, the water must be clean. If the water is dirty or murky, if it's the water has become discolored, that would be disqualified for netilat yadayim. One would not be able to use such water for hand washing purposes. With regard to the water could not have been used previously for anything else. It has to be fresh water that's being used specifically for hand washing. So even if it's been used for something previously and now you want to reuse it for hand washing, that would not be acceptable. For example, let's say you boiled water in a pot in order to warm something up. The water may still be clean, but since that water was used for another purpose previously, one should not use that water again for hand washing. Rather, one should use fresh water. What about the vessel used? So number one, the vessel that's used for hand washing should be perfect. It shouldn't have a crack in it. It shouldn't have a hole in it. It needs to be a perfect, complete vessel. Number two, the vessel needs to be one that was made originally. Its intended use was in order to hold liquid in it, and that's what it was designed for. If you just find a vessel which happens to have the ability to hold liquid in it, that doesn't do the trick, and that should not be used for netilat yadayim. For example, one should not use the lid of a pot for netilat yadayim, even though one can get some water in it, but because the lid of a pot was made in order to cover a pot, not to hold liquid in it, therefore it should not be used for netilat yadayim. Rather, only a cup or another vessel that was originally intended to hold water in it, that should be used for netilat yadayim. These are some examples of some of the laws regarding hand washing. There are many others as well, but this is just a few examples of how we see how this mitzvah of ritual purity, how it's practiced until today, is very much relevant in every single Jewish home until this very day. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.